your lives are worth it. And I'd wondered if you'd like to comment on the worth of your life and the social pressures and the pressure placed on you to pursue a path that you now believe was not the correct path.
I think we're all on the same page here, that everybody's life and right to happiness is worthy. And that's what we're all fighting for, even if we don't necessarily agree on what that means. And if I may ask, would I be able to address another witness?
Through the chair, you may. So you may
Okay.
speak to me and reference any other testimony you wish to.
Okay. Well, Mrs. Reynolds.
And you can direct it to me and say that what Ms. Reynolds talked about you want to respond to, and you go ahead.
Well, I understood that Mrs. Reynolds is scared for her child. And I just want to set the record straight that I don't hate her. I don't think anybody in this room hates her. In fact, I see my own mother and my own father in her, and that she dearly loves her child. And she's doing the best with what she's been given. And unfortunately, it's not much. And for that, I'm sorry. I mean, I think every parent deserves the utmost grace and guidance with how to help their child. That being said, I don't wish for her child to have the same result as I did. I don't wish for anybody to regret transition or to detransition because it's incredibly difficult. It comes with its own difficulties, and it's not easy. And I hope that her child gets to have a happy and fulfilling adulthood, however that may look like.
Well, thank you for that, Ms. Cole. I think it was heartfelt, and I know that a number of us share your view. One last question as my time is winding down. Do you believe that the American healthcare system failed you?
On every single level.
Thank
My
you.
doctors and systemically.
Thank you for being here. I yield.
So just for a little bit of context, this is Chloe Cole, and she transitioned at a very young age, and now she has detransitioned. And, you know, in the United States of America, we used to have a healthcare system that was probably top-notch, and I believe that it's failing for a myriad of reasons. By the way, Penn, University of Pennsylvania, one of the best healthcare systems in the country, doesn't require MCATs to get into their medical school if you fit certain gender or racial profiles. So we have people that are going to be curing diseases and treating people and patients that haven't even met the minimum requirements for the MCAT to get into school. But that's a whole other side. Let's talk about the transitioning and the detransitioning. I think the number is in like the 80s of the percentage of kids that have gender confusion by the time they're like 18, 19. It has corrected on its own without gender therapy and without surgery. And by the way, if the left says there aren't two genders, then why when you transition, it's called gender affirming care. You're affirming a different gender. There's only two choices. Doesn't really make sense. It's kind of baloney, I'm not gonna lie. But in our current healthcare, by the way, like I was talking about University of Pennsylvania, they offer gender transition at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia for young children. But anyway, I'm sure most of these big hospital systems and these teaching hospitals do that. But why they're doing this is they're using our children as lab rats to experiment on them. And it's also extremely lucrative. There's all kinds of state and federal money in these liberal states and our liberal federal government going into this. And the insurance companies, the billables that you get from this, 30, 40, 50, 60, ridiculous thousands of dollars. And at what cost? To our little children, giving them experimental drugs that they don't know how they work. And when they have these surgeries, they will never have proper sexual function in their life ever. Never, ever, ever, ever. They will never experience that, period. They will never naturally have children. And all the things that Chloe Cole is talking about, this isn't a Band-Aid. These are many, 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 many surgeries. They don't treat any sort of mental illness. They're just using our children and see them as a dollar sign and as a science project.